Hello everybody, my name is Bragster and welcome to another episode of TW 2020 where we are in charge of Impact Wrestling. Now we are off the back of one of our best shows that we've ever done really. It was a 65 rating. It is much better than every other week we've had for a very long time, even better than our pay-per-views. So we reached new heights last week, and that is all thanks to the incredible main event where Johnny Gargano and the Motor City Machine Guns defeated Ace Austin and the Sons of Perfection for 66 rating. It was our best performing matchup ever. So if we look at the top 100, it was not only our joint best show ever, it was also our best match. It beat our main event of Bound for Glory between Miro and Eddie Edwards, which went for 65. It beat that, and yeah, we haven't got highs of that for a very long time. The closest we've ever gotten is Jeff Hardy defeating Jake Crist by disqualification, which, you know, was a 64. That's the closest we've ever gotten to it. So I'm really happy with it. But we're into this episode where it is the go home show before lockdown. Hopefully it can really reach those heights that we did last week to bring that momentum forward going into the pay-per-view. My fingers are very much crossed, but without further ado, we'll check the mail, which says Ty Valkyrie is injured, EC3 is injured, so we'll just have a look at those. Medical, EC3 is 25 days, Sami Callihan is 6 days, and Ty Valkyrie is 6 days, but Ty Valkyrie can only work angles, which is fine because we haven't got a wrestling at the moment, and Sami Callihan is on his way back, and EC3 will be out for a little bit, but that's not too bad. But yeah, we'll move forward, and if anything happens beforehand, I'll show you. If not, we'll just get straight on in with the show. Right, so we got some backstage incidents. First of all is with Brian Cook and Mick Foley, where Brian Cook was brought before the wrestlers' court, accused of failing to pick up his share of the tab on a shared rental car, found him guilty, blah blah. So yeah, positive impact on Brian Cook there. And then between RVD and Zachary Wentz, where RVD is passing on selling tips to his protege Zachary Wentz. So lovely stuff there, no bad backstage incidents, and we can get on with the show. Right, so I've booked the show. I'm reasonably happy with it. It's a bit of a risky one if I'm honest, but there's not a bad show on this card. I'm hoping all the matches go well, but I've took a few risks with the directions of all of the matches, and I'm just hoping they all pay off, to be honest. It's good. It is a big show. It is the go home show. You know, obviously we do have Explosion after this, but that won't really wrap up many of the storylines. This is where all of the storylines are progressing, and yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do on the final week, so let's just see what this show's all about. So we start off the show with a 47 rated match where Ken Shamrock defeated Madman Fulton in a cage match by pinfall. Ken Shamrock 42, Madman Fulton 42. Yeah, it was a very good match, a classic cage match. I was going to have Madman Fulton win, but then Ken Shamrock started moaning, so I just thought, fuck it, I'll just leave it as it is. I kind of regret that decision now. I just had to go back and check something because I completely forgot to do it. But basically, I kind of regret doing it, so Fulton might get a big win in the next few weeks, because, I mean, it might have helped his popularity anyway, you never know. Afterwards, we've got a 72 rated segment where Mick Foley announces that this pay-per-view's pre-show battle royal will be for a shot against Ace Austin before the Slammiversary pay-per-view. Obviously, you could argue, well, isn't that what Miro and Jeff Hardy are fighting for? Yes, it is, but the difference is they only have to defeat one man, whereas in this, There's going to be quite a few participants. I don't quite know the number yet, but let's just say if they're not in a match at the pay-per-view, the likelihood is they're in this match. The people like Eric Young, Rick Swan, EC3, Brendan Webb, Articus Kogar, and Enzo Amore. He interrupts Mick Foley and tells Mick Foley that he will be inserted into this battle royal, and it will be the first time you see Enzo Amore in an Impact Wrestling ring. So yeah, I knew this would get a really high rating. I probably should have opened the show with it, but it just didn't feel organic to open the show with it, so it came here. 72 rated segment, lovely stuff. Then we got a 52 rated segment where Valkyrie, Ty Valkyrie confronted Rosemary about Johnny Bravo, and Rosemary just cackles and says that he's taken care of, to which Valkyrie looks extremely concerned. Then we have a 44 rated segment where Suicide and Manic defeated Daivari and Rohit Raju in about 12 minutes when Suicide pinned Daivari with a wave of the future. Rohit Raju got 37, Daivari 31, and both Manic and Suicide with a 49 rating. So a very good tag team in Suicide and Manic, which I'm very, very happy with. So that might bring an end to this part of the feud, but you never know. I might extend it. I don't know yet. Then we've got a 51 rated segment where Jake Crist and RVD, there was like a promo hype package between these two about Jake Crist's career, about RVD's. Sami Callihan cut a great promo during it. You had Mick Foley and Scott D'Amore also in there to hype up RVD and Jake Crist. It got a 51 rating, but it seems like they all struggled off script, which is unusual for these guys. Then we've got a 52 rated segment where the Kingdom and the Rebels had like a hype package straight after. It had everyone in except from the two in the main event of Chris Bay and Willie Mack. So everyone else was in this one, so hopefully it improves not only the rating of the storyline, but also the popularity of all of these as well. Well, so you had Alex Shelley defeat Joe Hennig in a 50 rated match. I put on a spectacle for that match as well, just to hopefully bump up the rating, and it seems to have a little bit as well. I accidentally was meant to put a segment beforehand, which is why we ended up on this screen. But it was a very good match, but I've changed the segment anyway. So the next one was a 53 rated segment where the Sons of Perfection say that it was a fluke, that victory was a fluke, and that at the pay-per-view it won't be that way, and the Sons of Perfection will win those tag titles. So I've turned it around. They were meant to say that last week was a fluke, but now I've put it around to this one. So 53 rated segment improves the segment rating, and it should be a very, very good match. Hopefully it works. Next up, we have a 63 rated segment where Matthew Weralt interviewed Jeff Hardy and Miro for their match at the pay-per-view. It got a 63 rating. They just go back and forth about how they're going to win, and Miro talks about his brutality, whereas Jeff Hardy talks about his experience in the ring and that he will walk away with the victory, and that actually Miro's anger is what will cost him. So yeah, really nice segment rating there. Then we have a 46 rated segment where the Warriors of Pain and Allure are arguing backstage, and Brian Myers comes into the middle and it goes silent, and he says, "You guys may have turned your back on me, both of you, but I will come back with a partner bigger and better than ever before." So it's going to turn into almost like a three-way dance situation. It's going to be interesting. I kind of know who it's going to be as well, which I'm excited for. I don't think it's going to be anyone new, unless I do get someone new in. But I do feel as though it's going to be a parody on what he's doing in real life, which I really do like. Next up, we've got a 44 rated segment where Tasha Steelz defeated Kairi Hojo, Rosemary, Thunder Rosa and Jordynne Grace in 16 minutes when Tasha Steelz pinned Thunder Rosa after Elijah Burke interfered. Jordynne Grace 47, Kairi Hojo 52, Rosemary 47, Thunder Rosa 45 and Tasha Steelz 30. It gained heat for the storyline. Unfortunately, Tasha Steelz and Elijah Burke are on different sides of the heel-face divide. I will have to turn that. I didn't realise I hadn't yet. And Kairi Hojo seemed off a game. So, yeah, 44 ratings, very good. And given the fact that this will be one of the matches at the pay-per-view, it will be these 5. It will just be in a championship scramble. I feel like we can get a really high rating from this. Then we've got a 48 rated segment where Elijah Burke tells everyone that Tasha Steelz will be the new Knockouts champion by the pay-per-view. Obviously, her winning that match now means that she has the advantage. She will come out last and be able to pick the bones of the other 4. So yeah, really exciting stuff. And here we go. I'll turn Tasha Steelz heel. It's a complete success. Happy days. So that should work really well, ready for the pay-per-view. Next up, we've got a 58 rated segment where Johnny Gargano and Ace Austin have a promo, and Gargano warns that this is the end of Ace Austin's historic reign. Just a very simple promo. I don't need to go into the details, just that they're both going to win the match is pretty much the promo, so nothing too special there. And then the main event of the evening, I don't know what this is going to be, a last man standing match. It's only 15 minutes long, but it should be a brutal 15 minutes. It's a 55 rated match, which I'm really happy with. Chris Bay defeated Willie Mack in a last man standing match in 14 minutes and 39 seconds when Willie Mack could not beat the 10 count after a triple C. Chris Bay got a 51, Willie Mack 49. Really good stuff here. Advanced the segment rating. 55 is really good from Willie Mack and Chris Bay. You know, they're not main eventers, so the fact that they're getting main event style segment ratings is good. And that should bring an end to the show, which gives us a 57 rated show. I think it could have been better if I had put the Foley announcement at the start. Then I really do feel as though it maybe could have reached a bit higher. But 57 is still a very good rating for the go home show. It's better than a lot of our other weeks, obviously not as good as... It's about average, really, but it's not as good as last week's, obviously. But it's still built momentum into this pay-per-view, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it can all pay off. But we're going to have to wait and see. We've got some mail here. Apparently, according to Mick Foley, Thunder Rosa is a star. She very much is. And according to Scott D'Amore, Thunder Rosa is a star. She very much is. So, yeah, I don't think our size would have improved from that show, but you never know. Actually, it did in some places. It improved in pretty much every single place apart from the main 3 that we got is Southeast, Southwest and Tri-State. Apart from that, everywhere else pretty much improved. So happy days. I'm glad. It's nice to see everywhere else improving and getting to those high ratings ready for the pay-per-view. Without further ado, we'll move into Explosion, and then after that I'll run through the lockdown card. Right, so some big news. We have offered a contract to Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville hasn't been given a contract by WWE, meaning that we are able to go in for her. As you can see, she's great on the mic, she's great in the ring. I'm a massive fan of Sonya Deville. I always have been. And for me, this would be a huge signing. They're not offering a contract to us, so hopefully no one else does. And we've got her right on the cheap as well, like about $500 per show, really cheaply. So I'm really happy with that. Ty Valkyrie is now back with the company, and Sami Callihan has now recovered from injury. Nice. AEW have put on a 72 rated show. They always put on some great shows at the moment. I don't know who Robert Anthony is. He's right, so that was a squash match is what it's trying to tell me. So basically that was a squash match and it got like 73 apparently. And then NXT got a 65, so we did not beat NXT this week. A much better show by them, a lot of 60s. So yeah, really good for them. But yeah, the big news here is we could get Sonya Deville. If we do, that is a huge signing for us and would massively change the women's division. Right, so we got a backstage incident between RVD and Zachary Wentz, where RVD is passing on psychology tips to Zachary Wentz. Really good stuff there, happy with that. So yeah, I'll book the show and then I'll show you what happened. Right, so I've booked the show. Again, seems quite a good one. I've actually put in a bit more storyline in there than I thought I would do, but that's usually a good sign. So let's get on with the show. So we start off the show with a 40 rated segment where Suicide defeated Brian Cook in 12 minutes with a Wave of the Future. Suicide got a 48, Brian Cook with a 21. Really nice stuff here by both guys. After that, we've got a 29 rated segment where Brian Myers is seen helping Brian Cook to the back. Do you remember what happened on Impact? Good. So keep that in your noggin. Next up, we've got a 52 rated segment where Tasha Steelz gets an entire hype package, you know, that Future Stars hype package. All of the Kingdom are involved with this. Mick Foley's involved, Madison Ray's involved, and Angelina Love are all involved. It ended up with a 52 rated segment. Unfortunately, Tasha Steelz wasn't so great and was a bit of a mess. Fred, yeah, he wasn't so good off script, and neither was Angelina Love, but everything else was good enough to get a 52 rating, and hopefully that improves her popularity. That's what I want, because she's good in the ring. I actually like Tasha Steelz, but unfortunately on the game, for whatever reason, she isn't that great, so I'm trying to get her up. And then we got a 33 rated segment where Kimberly challenges Deonna Purrazzo to a match. Right now, obviously Deonna Purrazzo accepts with a gleeful grin on her face. And then Kimberly points to the screen and you see Lacey Ryan's body on the floor with Kylie Rae waving vigorously at the camera to Deonna Purrazzo and is like, "Hi Deonna, hi Deonna." That's how it's going. Kimberly obviously has been, Kylie Rae has been shown in recent weeks a bit more of a vicious side. So Kimberly is using that to full effect to get in the head of Deonna Purrazzo. And that seems to work in a 43 rated match. Kimberly defeats Deonna Purrazzo in 10 minutes when Deonna Purrazzo gets intentionally disqualified. She grabs a chair from underneath the ring, clocks Kimberly when the ref isn't looking. 1, 2, kick out by Kimberly, and then Deonna Purrazzo picks it up the chair again and just batters her in front of the referee this time. Kimberly got a 35, Deonna Purrazzo with a 44. Really nice stuff between these two. Then after the match, Kylie Rae runs to the ring for the save, and after a quick flurry, Deonna Purrazzo gets the better, picks up the chair and whacks Kylie Rae with it, standing tall above Kimberly and Kylie Rae. So a really nice segment here. I like how this storyline came from absolutely nothing, and it seems to be working so far, so I can't complain too much. Then we've got a 53 rated segment where Crazy Steve and Rosemary are talking backstage, and Johnny Bravo's body seems to be in the background the entire time. Crazy Steve's face looks all bloodied up, so it seems like Crazy Steve is in on this little thing that's going on between Rosemary and Johnny Bravo, whatever's going on there. Then we've got a 47 rated segment where Havoc and Nevaeh want to put the Dinas in a match. They want to see whether the Dinas were listening. Enzo happens to walk past with Tennille Dashwood and Melina, and they make the match then and there, and they head out to the ring. Really good stuff here. Havoc and Cody Deaner weren't so good off script, but Tennille Dashwood, Melina, Nevaeh, Cousin Jake and Enzo Amore all did brilliantly, and obviously Tennille and Enzo benefiting from a hot catchphrase, which probably is a catchphrase that they came up together, assuming that they're together in the game. So we'll go into the final match of the show, which is a 43 rated match where Melina and Dashwood defeated the Dinas in 18 minutes when Tennille Dashwood pinned Cousin Jake with a roaring elbow after Enzo Amore interfered. Cousin Jake with a 45, Tennille Dashwood 46, Cody Deaner 32 and Melina with a 28. Decent stuff here, I'm happy with that, and a good match to boot, and that results in a 45 rated explosion. Really happy with that again. All my explosion shows just seem to progress things that little bit more, and producing some really good matches. My matches seem to be my high points. It's just my segments, which you can expect from a smaller promotion to have the segment ratings maybe not reach the highs, because maybe the promos just aren't as good, or all the stuff around it, like the production stuff, won't be as good. But the matchability can always be top notch, and you know, we're getting there. We're getting there with it all. But yeah, that brings an end to the episode. Obviously, I will run through the card in a minute. I will just wrap up the episode, and then I'll run through the card for you. But yeah, make sure to hit that like button for the if you are enjoying it and are looking forward to the pay-per-view. Comment down below what you think the best match on the pay-per-view will be when I run through it in a minute. And if you're new here, please do subscribe so you do not miss the pay-per-view. I don't want you to miss it. It will be a banger. Fingers crossed. So yeah, without further ado, let's run through the Lockdown pay-per-view card. Right, so we are going to run through the Lockdown pay-per-view card here, and it should be a really good show. We are kicking off on the pre-show with a battle royal to determine the first #1 contender post the pay-per-view for the world title against either Ace Austin or Johnny Gargano. This will include the likes of EC3, Eric Young, Rick Swann, as long as many other surprises that I do have in store for you in that battle royal. It should be really good. I don't want to reveal too many participants. I don't want to reveal how many participants there will be, but I can guarantee that'll be a great way to start off the pay-per-view. And in no particular order, we have Jeff Hardy versus Miro to become the true #1 contender for the World Heavyweight title, which will be at Slammiversary. By winning that match, you are guaranteeing booking your place at the biggest party of the summer for Impact's party of the summer. Obviously, Jeff Hardy was the big marquee signing of 2021 for Impact Wrestling, but Miro was the big marquee signing in 2020 for Impact Wrestling. So we are pitting them both together to see if Miro can get that title back, or if Jeff Hardy can find his way into that title picture. We will find out at the pay-per-view. Next up, we have a long-standing rivalry coming to a head as the North will face off against the Rascals in a steel cage. Obviously, due to the match that we will allude to later on, there are 2 rings with a cage around it. This is a more classic cage match to the one that we'll come to later on, but it still is going to be brutal, as you will have Ethan Page, Dominic Garrini and Josh Alexander facing off against Trey Miguel, Zachary Wentz and Desmond Xavier. It should be an absolute cracker, and we'll have to see who comes out on top between the North and the Rascals. Next up is a huge match in terms of Impact Wrestling, and that is Jake Crist versus RVD. It is contract versus career. If RVD wins, Jake Crist will have to leave Impact Wrestling forever. Whereas if Jake Crist wins, RVD will have to retire from wrestling. It is a huge match with massive implications, and someone's favourite wrestler will be leaving Impact forever. But who that will be, we'll have to find out at the pay-per-view. Next up on the card is the Impact Tag Team Championship match between the Motor City Machine Guns and the Sons of Perfection. The Sons of Perfection have had a real tough road to try and make it to this title picture. They haven't had the smoothest of roads. They obviously bowed out in the Chris Candido Memorial Tournament to get that title shot earlier on, but they found their way into a title shot by beating the Dinas on their way to this. The Motor City Machine Guns have been on their top form, obviously producing some real quality matches with the likes of Moose, Miro, and obviously in the last match. We'll have to see who comes away with the victory. Next up on the card is the Impact Knockouts Championship match between the champion Kairi Hojo, Rosemary, Jordynne Grace, Tasha Steelz and Thunder Rosa. Tasha Steelz obviously picking up the huge advantage on Impact this week, defeating all of the other 4 women that she will be facing in this match. But it is a championship scramble match, so it is all about who gets that final pinfall, not who gets the first, not who gets the third. It's about whoever gets that final pinfall. This is Kairi Hojo's biggest test yet for her title, and we'll just have to see who comes away with the Knockouts Championship. Anyone can win a championship scramble, as proven in the past, but we'll have to see who comes away with that Knockouts title and goes into Slammiversary with it. Next up on the card is the Impact World title match between Johnny Gargano and the champion Ace Austin. Ace Austin has been on an absolute tear since I took over Impact, taking that title from the dominant Miro in shocking fashion. So Johnny Gargano is trying to take advantage of that and trying to take on what he'd class as a weaker champion. But Ace Austin is far from weak, and Johnny Gargano has been trying to deal with his aggression recently that has cost him matches but also won him matches. Will it cost him or will it make him win that Impact title? We'll have to find out at the pay-per-view. And the main event of the evening is the War Games match between the Kingdom and the Rebels. These 2 teams have been going at it for the longest amount of time. Ever since the Kingdom turned up in Impact, they have been a dominant force. And as the first victim, Eddie Edwards has built an absolute stalwart of a team to go up against the Kingdom to try and take that victory and try and put them in their place. Can Eddie Edwards, the Good Brothers, Moose and Willie Mack do this? We'll have to wait and see. The song for this pay-per-view is We Get What We Deserve by the Newton Brothers and Dead Sarah. Thank you to them for providing the music for this pay-per-view. It is perfect. It perfectly puts you in the mood for how serious this pay-per-view is. People will change post this pay-per-view. We'll just have to wait and see how much these people change and whether for the better. I will have to see all of you at the pay-per-view. It should be an incredible card, and yeah, I'm excited and I hope you're excited too. As I said earlier, make sure to hit that like button, comment down below anything and subscribe if you're new, and I shall see all of you at the Lockdown pay-per-view. See ya!